Good afternoon everyone and welcome to Patchwork Cutters. My name's Tracy Mann from Tracy Mann Cakes, and today I'm going to show you how to paint Marion's Teddy Plaque cutter, not to be confused with Teddy Bear's Picnic, which is a completely different set, I may add. So we're going to have a look at this shortly, and we're going to do some cocoa butter painting. So this is one of our kind of lunchtime paints, so I hope that you will enjoy it, maybe even have a go yourself, one or the other. You can see my address down there is at the bottom, so if you are interested in buying any of the patchwork cutters or certainly any cocoa butter painting kits, that's the address you need to use. However, we do also have a very large painting school with over 80 different projects to do that is available on this particular site here, which is tracymancakeschool.co.uk. So if you do want to go across and have a look at what other classes we do in cake painting and cupcake bouquets and lots of other things, then do pop across and have a look at that. Now I'm just going to show you one to start with. That's not what I'm going to paint, but one I did paint on Saturday. So this one here, I haven't put it up on Patchwork Cutters yet because I'm a bit behind this week. I'm in sort of panic Mother's Day mode at the moment. This is using balloons, which is this one here, with the Teddy Bear's Picnic, which isn't the one I'm doing today. And inside Teddy Bear's Picnic there is a little panda. There he is. There's a little panda, and I popped him on there like so, and then I added the balloons over the top. So if you're very careful with this and you position this in the right place, you will be able to do this. It's quite a nice one to do. If you put the panda down first and then add the balloons in, it works quite well. And then I just added a few sprinkles at the end. But I did paint this on Let's Shop Cake Live, which is my other Facebook page. So you can go over there and watch it on there if you want to. But it's quite a nice straightforward paint, this one. The balloons, I think, are very versatile. I mean, it's amazing what you can do with the little patchwork cutters. There's the elephant I had a few weeks ago that I just put a little spring flower in his hand. Very simple, very easy and straightforward to use. These sets can go across the whole thing. So in other words, if you can mix and match your sets a little bit so that you can make things like this. So the balloons are on their own, but obviously with the Teddy Bear's Picnic, I've added in the panda just so he looks like he's holding the balloon. But there is another teddy in there that you could do the same with as well. So there's all sorts of different things that you can do. It's just a case of positioning them when you are getting ready to emboss, because we obviously are embossing everything, ready to paint. So some of the questions that we've had on here about how to emboss, etc., I did run through that at the weekend again on Let's Shop, of how to do one, and we're going to be looking at this one today, which is the Teddy Plaque. There we go. There's me little elephant. I've just got to show me elephant once more because I do think he's very cute. There he is. Pop that over there. Okay, so we're going to look at the Teddy Plaque today, which is one complete set, although I think I probably should have removed these, but actually I quite liked where they turned out, so I'm happy with that. And all I did was roll out some sugar paste just onto a thin cake board. I used a pale blue colour and then just popped this on top, pressed it down, not too far, but far enough that I was able to get some markings on here so that I'm going to be able to paint it. And that's the point of this, is that when you put this onto here, is try not to press it down too far. We just need to be able to see it. And if you do press down too far, just take your finger and rub it over the top, and then it will bring it back up to the surface again. Sometimes if it's too deep, you can have problems with the paint running into all the gaps and everything. It can be a bit more tricky to paint. But this is quite a detailed one, so we're going to get started fairly quickly. I'm going to pop that one just there, and I'm going to bring this in, which is my cocoa butter kit. Gosh, I've got this camera down so low today. Let me lift it up a little bit. This is, oh, it's not having it, is it? It clearly wants me. We're all going on a ride here now. Right, let's tip that back this way. There we go. So this is my cocoa butter setup, which is a chrome food warmer with a tea light underneath there, which is making the metal paint palette hot, which is in turn melting the cocoa butter, which is just coming round here now on the right hand side. So that started off as like little tiny buttons, and now it's gone to liquid form, and that's because the metal paint palette is now hot, which means that it will stay liquid for the whole time we're painting, as long as it stays on this palette and the heat is maintained. Once the heat's taken away, then obviously it will reset and go back to a solid, and that's what will happen when we put it onto the plaque. So we're going to get started. I've picked sort of a colour palette of, I've got Wonder Dust Gold here, bright gold, Wonder Dust bright gold. I've got gooseberry green, which is a colour we're using quite a bit at the moment. Ice pink sorbet, which is an edible art colour. And then just off screen, I've got white and brown. So that's the kind of colours that I've picked today. So we're going to start with the outside edge. I've got two paintbrushes on the go at the moment, which is paintbrush number 1. And I was going to say paintbrush 2 then, but I've actually got paintbrush 3 in my hand, which is no good. There we go, paintbrush 1 and paintbrush 2. So those are the two brushes I'm going to use at the moment. Now it's quite detailed, this one, so there's a very high chance that the majority of it will be done in paintbrush 1 because that's the smaller brush, but if I need to get my zero brush out as well, I will, which takes it down one step further to something a bit paler still. So let's get mixing. We'll start with the border, so we're going to take hold of some Wonder Dust Gold and we're just going to mix it like so. Now, so this is a luster colour. So on the basis this is a luster colour, it will use more powder than it will do if it's a matte colour. But you should be able to paint in one go. So I'm going to go over, what brush have I got here? Let me check. I've got 2. Let me go down to 1. I think that would be a better option. Let's move that out of the way. So we'll start with paintbrush number 1. And we're going to just paint this kind of framework that's around the outside edge. I'm not going to worry too much about going over these little circles that Marion's got on here. These little, you can see little tiny circles as I go over them, because I can paint over cocoa butter. Once it's dry, I can paint over it again. So I'm quite happy to go straight over that. It makes life a little bit easier. Now you can see already that from the painting I'd already identified that my brush is too big, so having the right brushes is really important. Okay, really important, because it will be so much harder for you if your brush is too big. So on my website we do have sets of 5 which paintbrushes that we use for our classes. You won't need many sets of brushes as long as you don't use them for other things. If you stick to using them for your cake painting, then you won't need it for anything else. And you can see as I'm going around as well, I am actually turning it to make it easier for me to paint. So if you had your cake on a turntable, for example, you would turn it, or you can do like I'm doing on here, which is a plaque that can then be added to the cake. In that case, then whoever you've given the cake to can keep it, which is quite nice. Sometimes people get a bit, oh no, I don't want to cut that. So sometimes if you do it on a plaque, that can help you. It also means you can do it in advance. So if you're having a bit of a panic because it's all very last minute and you've got to do this cake, or you get yourself more organised, you could do a plaque in advance and then just add it to your cake with a bit of royal icing. Just pipe round, just put a bit under the bottom and then just kind of pipe round the edge, and that's all you'll need to do just to hold it in place. Or if you don't want to do any piping, you can still attach it with your royal icing and perhaps then just roll out a round band of sugar paste just to hide the gap, because there's always going to be a bit of a gap between the cake and the board. So that's what you would need to do there. So that's coming out really nicely. The Teddy Plaque itself seems very versatile. It doesn't seem to point particularly to any occasion. Some of them are really, it's Christmas, you know it's Christmas, or Easter or whatever. However, this one I think is quite adaptable for lots of different occasions. So if you wanted to do it for a birthday or Mother's Day or something along those lines, you've got plenty of options here. It's a very sweet one. I think it would work really well for like a little newborn baby, maybe christening, that kind of thing, because it is very, very sweet. I'm sure there's lots and lots of things that you can actually do with it. I'm sure you can think of lots of ideas, even something like retirement, teddy bear's picnic, I don't know, there's just so many I think you could do with this particular one. So you often feel like you get really good value for money with those. If you buy some of the other kits, for example, I'm all for mixing and matching, as you well know, so you can often take things from one set, put them with the other, and then you can create a whole new idea just by mixing them all up a little bit. So this plaque cutter is available on my website at the moment. We do have stock, which is good. We've also got the Teddy Bear's Picnic, which is the one I used for the balloons, and then we've got balloons as well. So I've got a fair few in at the moment, and obviously the lovely elephants, which I've completely fallen in love with. Is very sweet. I can feel a whole cake coming on around the elephants. But there we go. Don't forget as well, it's also spring season, so snowdrops are in. So the snowdrop cutter that belongs to Patchwork Cutters as well is also absolutely lovely. We have a tutorial on our cake school as well for snowdrops, so if anybody wants to have a go at that, that is available as well. There you go. You see, look how effective that is. It really frames it, and I only have to do it once, so I'm very happy with that. I don't need to go back and do anything else. And I'm going to use the gold. Again, I'll use it inside of here. Let's maybe paint this flower gold just so we can reflect the same colour within the design itself. So it's always a good idea to take the colour into the design just so it makes a bit more sense. I just don't want to put a gold border around there for no reason. So we'll add in a gold flower here. Again, I'm going to turn it because my paintbrush is facing the wrong way, and then I can get it down into the gap like so, and then perhaps we'll do this one as well. We'll do the two little flowers. There's one down there, but I'm not sure about what that one is yet. I haven't studied it yet. It might be the opposite of that one. Once I get that far, I'll let you know. There we go. So you've already got the border, and then you've got some of the gold inside as well. So we'll leave that to dry. We'll dip our paintbrush into the cocoa butter, use a bit of kitchen roll. We'll just clean it up just by putting it in there and just twisting it until everything's off, which it is. I'm going to turn that round, all the way around until we get to there. And what we'll do now is we'll do the bear, purely because I need him to dry off a bit before we finish him off. So we'll start with a bit of brown, and we will add some white to him. We don't want to make him too strong. I want him to be quite subtle. So we'll go brown, but with white. Okay. Get those lumps out there. Let's see how bright that comes out. That's fine. Okay, so we'll paint him as is. So we'll follow him round. It's a bit like painting by numbers, and I know I say this regularly, but it is. So we'll just go over his eye, down towards his ear. These are great if you want to have a go at painting, but you're worried about how you're going to actually sort of create your outline, although I have lots of methods to get you around that. It is good for just a bit of practice, or you just fancy having a paint for an hour or so. You would take a bit longer than me because I always do everything at high speed when I'm live anyway, so it is a little bit quicker than usual. I'm sure if you did it, you'd take your time and enjoy it a bit more. I'm just leaving that bit of his ear out there because I'm just going to put a bit of pink in there when I come back to it. So I've just left that gap there, and we'll come down the side of here, around his paw. And obviously he's got a pad showing there, so we'll make that pink. We'll come back and do that in a minute. Or we could even make it dark brown, actually, one or the other, doesn't really matter. Whatever you fancy, really. And you can do the bear in any colour. I've picked brown, but you can also do it in, because I've done brown, pink and gold today, but you could also do like a grey bear if you want to. There's quite a famous brand of bear that's grey that looks quite nice. It's on lots of birthday cards and things, so you could always do that. But I thought I'd go traditional sort of teddy colour today. If you were doing it for a baby shower, you could make the teddy pink or blue if you particularly wanted to, if you were doing something like that. Or you could go cream, nice shade of yellow would be nice, not too bright. Just when you try and assemble it together, just look at the colours you're using and just have a look at them and see if they go together. And if they go together, then it should work out. If you're putting your colours together and they don't look right, then it probably won't. So just try that little test first, just to see what colours. Thought it would be quite nice to put a metallic in there today to highlight, just brighten it up a bit really. I think that works quite well. There we go, under the foot. Okay, so we've got one layer on for the little bear, and we'll come back and do a bit more to him later on. I'm umming and ahhing as to whether to do his feet in brown, but I think I might leave that for the moment while I have a little think out loud. So let's clean our brush. And then we will do the flower. So again, I've still got at the moment some more luster colours. I've got, this is Ice Pink Sorbet, which is such a nice colour. But I am going to put some white in it just to brighten it up a little bit. Just a bit of matte white. So I'll put that in there like so. It's got a bit more candy pink colour. Like so. And then I'll turn that round, otherwise my hand will be in the way. And then we'll tackle this flower. So all the detail within the patchwork cutter is all there. So when you go to paint something like this, all the lines and everything will start to show up. So you'll see the detail come through, which I'm sure you're probably seeing on camera now anyway. Yep, there we go. As I start to put the paint down, you'll see it coming up quite clearly. Like so. I'm just going to turn it around a little bit. And again, because it's a luster colour, it is going to colour sort of really quickly in one go. Sorry, my camera keeps going in and out of focus because my hand is directly over the top of it today. I don't know why, it's not on a mission today to absolutely not hold my camera in the right place. Right, come on. Right, there we are. Okay. It's probably still doing it. Yeah, it is a little bit, but I can't help that today. We'll keep going. There we go. So the flower is actually upside down, I think. It looks like it's facing down onto the little bear. So we're assuming that this bit here is going to be green and not pink or yellow, if it was perhaps the centre. Or pink even, it could be pink, I don't know. Could be any of those, couldn't it? Let's turn it around again. Go. And there. Okay. All right. So that's the Ice Pink Sorbet with white in it. So without white in it, it's even stronger than that. So just bear that in mind. I think I am going to do his feet pink. And then if I don't like them, I'll switch them over to brown, but I think I'm quite happy with that. I just want some elements of pink in here. Just spreading my colours around again, what we talked about before. And then what I'm going to do, she says, is using the pink colour here, I'm going to go around with these dots with one of these tools here. Now this is just a ball tool, so there's large and small at the bottom. I've picked this one because these are quite big, but I'm quite renowned for using these, which are called dotting tools, again, which we've got on our website, that come in packs of 5, and they have much smaller ends on there. But because this is quite big, I'm going to use this one instead. And I'm just going to mix up myself a little bit more pink paint, because otherwise I'm going to run out. It doesn't really matter if it's full strength or anything around the outside edge, but I just need to make sure I've got a bit more paint going on there. Okay, right, now I'm going to put my, let's see if it works. Yes, there we go. So I'm just going to go round and I'm just going to fill these gaps with my little gadget. Like so. So if you were doing this with a paintbrush, you probably won't get a complete circle, whereas if you do this with one of these type tools, you will get a circle. So that's the reason why we do it versus a paintbrush, okay? So there is a reason behind this. Sorry, it's going in and out of focus quite a bit. I'm just going to move this down here so I'm off screen with it for a second. So it's every time I go to the paint palette, it's knocking the camera out. There we go. If your sugar paste is still soft, you will be able to press it in a bit further. Mine was obviously done at the weekend, so it's now a little bit, it's all set now, so I can't press it in any further, but you can do if you've obviously, okay. You can even let the cocoa butter kind of flood it a little bit because it's all going to dry anyway. There you go. Okay, see, that was easy. And then what I'll do is I'll do the centre of this flower with the same, like so, and then I'll do this middle one here and hopefully that will come out. Oh, perfect. That's a winner. Right, now forgot this little one down the bottom here, so we will paint that the same as the big flower, I think, because that one's coming out of the ground, isn't it? So we'll do this one down here. Am I still on screen? Yep. So we'll paint this one. Like so, maybe put some green on that in a second. Now these whorls that are at the side here, they to me, yeah, I'm right, look like they need paintbrush, what have I got here, 0, yeah, because they're very small and you want to get your paintbrush right inside of the gaps. So I'm going to got my 0 brush here and that fits really nicely inside of these gaps. If I try to do it in anything bigger, it'd be a disaster. So we're going to stick with the 0 brush. I think you can break these bits off if you don't want them in there, but I thought they were quite nice actually. There we go. That's quite pretty. There's another one there. Marion's obviously given us a couple because she obviously thinks we need entertainment. There we go. Just paint that line down there. Good, lovely. Right, what should we do now? Let's do the flower, back of the flower. So let's move that up there again. Is the bear dried yet? Almost. It's a little bit warmer today, so everything's taking a tiny bit longer to dry. That's all right. So we'll grab some green. So this is gooseberry green. We're going to stick some white in there, just so that it's not too bright. See what it looks like when it comes out. Yeah, that's okay. Turn it round. And then we'll start with the back of the flower. So I've got paintbrush 1 on the go at the minute. I think I can do this with paintbrush 1 if I remember rightly. If you just, I think it's better than 0 because it's a bit thicker, but you do need to work right on the tip of it. There you go, that's better. Like so. Gooseberry green with white in it actually is quite close to spring green, I think. It's not far off it. I think it's quite a nice soft colour. In sugar paste colours or gel colours, I use some Colour Splash Leaf Green quite a lot, and this is very similar to that. So it's almost like the dusting colour version of it. And it's certainly my favourite green colour because it's soft. It's not a strong, dark colour. I think he's got a tail, this bear, you know. I think I'm going to have to just go back and... Looks like a tail. Better put a tail in there. And there's some green on this side. What we can do here is we can improvise a little bit. So perhaps we'll dab some green along here as well. So he's sat on the ground. Put a bit more cocoa butter in there so it's not so... Where's my dry brush? I'll take paintbrush 3, which hopefully hasn't got any colour in it. You never know. I'll just dab that in a little bit. That's very sweet. Okay, now we've got a little bit of pink missing in his ear, so we'll do that next. So I'll just take that, pop that in there because I missed that bit. There we go. And actually, there's a tiny bit of green we're going to put. We'll put a little bit of green in the middle of this one. Could put gold. Maybe I'll put gold. Let's put gold instead, actually. Let's find a paintbrush that's got some gold on it. Let's try this one. Yeah, gold's better. Okay, that's fine. Right, let's make the bear a little bit darker. So what we'll do is we'll just go back to our brown and we'll just make a little bit darker, she says, adding in half a ton of brown. And then we'll just pop a little bit under his chin. Just bring that down a little bit under his arm. And a little bit down there as well. Okay. I'll give him a smile with this dark brown colour. Tricky to know what to do with his colours of his eyes, etc. with something like this, but we'll go dark brown. I think that's okay. We'll go into the middle with the brush. Let's hope we can do this. If not, get the dotting tool out and we'll put a little bit brown in there. Just a tad, not too much. So I'm just making his tummy a bit more brown. I think I've decided I quite like it a bit darker. I'm playing and fiddling around, that's what's happening. Leave me to my own devices and I'll be gone. Right, let's have a play with the pink, I think. What should we do with that? Let's see if the full strength shows up or not. Let's mix a bit of nice pink sorbet without any white in it, just to see if we get a colour contrast. Oh yeah, we do, that's good. Right, so we'll put that right towards the back of the flower. That's nice. There you go, then it's not flat, you see, I don't want it to be flat. Actually, we'll use a little bit of that on here as well. We'll just put a little bit round his foot. Just a little bit round his pad. Tiny bit on his ear. Doesn't need to be a lot, just a little bit. Right, let's look at the green. With the green, let's turn that around this way. Hopefully you can just about see it. I'll grab a bit more gooseberry green. Make it a bit darker still. And then we'll just come down this side of the leaf. That's showing up okay, yes it is. Oh, I've missed his tail, I need to do that. Let me get that done in a second. A little bit on the back there. And then we'll just take the, I'm going to have to bring this towards me I think, just take that down the side. If I can get away with it. Which I just about am, I think. Yeah, that's all right. Just got a bit of a shadow going on the back there. See, that makes quite a lot of difference, doesn't it? I'll tell you what we'll do as well, we'll stick a bit of extra this green colour amongst this grass, so that makes sense. Otherwise he's sitting on very different colour, so it'll make it a bit darker by him. Okay, that's looking good, isn't it? Right, now let's just do a few little extras, shall we? Let's grab some white. Let's mix up some white paint. See if we can get something going here. And we're going to have to get the dotting tools out because it's almost unavoidable. There we go. Now let's take hold of these. Now I'm going to pull this down a little bit because I don't want my camera to be distorted too badly. And then we'll put some little spots. Soften this up a bit. Oh, it does look very sweet. I'll just fade a few out there. I don't think we'll put them out as far as, we'll keep the majority towards the middle. There we go. Okay, and then we can always, if we want to, just add highlights going round. So we can always just add a little extra bit of white somewhere. That always looks quite nice. It's all these little kind of tiny little bits that make all the difference, I think. Let's turn that round towards me. I forgot his tail. I need to go back and do his tail. I won't forget. So, birthdays, Mother's Day, not I was going to say Christmas Day then, I don't know about Christmas Day. You could even make it Easter. You could stick a little mini egg, couldn't you, down by his feet. He could be an Easter plaque. I think this certainly has got lots of potential for being lots of many different things, to be honest. Right, let's put a few little white spots on his, a couple on the flowers. Brighten it up a bit. Okay, now I'm going to just put a tiny little dot on his eye, because if I put in a huge one, it will cover the whole thing, and we don't want to do that. Let me get the brown out so I finish his tail so I don't forget. There we go, he's got a little tail there. Let's make it a little bit darker. I didn't realise he had a tail, but he does. Unless Marion tells me later that was a leaf. I thought it was a tail. Okay, just bring a little bit more around there. Take a bit over that way. Down that side. Oh, one little bit down there. There we go. As if by magic. That's not bad, is it? 32 minutes that's taken me to do, so I'm just timing myself here. So there you go. There's a pretty instant plaque there for you if you want to have a go at painting the Teddy plaque. It's quite a lovely one to do, actually. You can play around with your colours. As I say, you don't have to do the bare brown. You can always do the bare sort of pink or blue or grey, or just a really nice kind of soft colour, so like a mint green colour. My background on here, by the way, is from Colour Splash Navy, but I obviously haven't made it navy blue. I've made it a pale blue. So Colour Splash Navy comes out like a powder blue colour if you don't make it too strong. And I do use that as a lot of backgrounds on my cake paints rather than using white. White can sometimes be a bit harsh and it doesn't help your design. It is easier to actually paint onto a pale background of some description, like pale green, pale blue, pale grey even is actually quite nice. And then you can put it onto a white cake if you want to do that. So that's fairly sort of straightforward and easy to do. So there you go. So that's it. That's what the cutter looks like. Let me just move this out of the way. In fact, what I'm going to do is blow out that candle, because otherwise in a minute when I leave here I shall spend the rest of the afternoon going, did I blow that candle out? So that's what it looks like when you get it. So it's one of these ones when you go, what's going on here? These I think are detachable and you can put them wherever you want, but I just left them where they were and just went like that. That's what I ended up with, and I do actually think it's really quite sweet the way it's been laid out as is. So but again, with these little flowers on here, you can always transfer those and use them onto other designs. So you could use them with the balloons, you could use them with the elephant. There's all sorts of different things that you can do to take that away. This is actually fixed, so the teddy does sit within the plaque. So that's how it comes, the whole thing. So it is actually sort of like a painting type project right up my street, for doing something like that. But you could have the teddy holding a bunch of flowers, maybe a little bit like the elephant there where I did the spring one. So you could always put a little flower in there as well. So there's all sorts of different things that you can do with this particular plaque. So I will put up a picture at the end. I will put a picture up on this group so you can see what it's like. And normally I've been uploading these to my YouTube channel. They are also staying on here. You'll find all the videos are in the featured section, because I know sometimes people get confused and they can't find them. If you go to the top of this page and if you go into featured, you'll see all of the lives in there that Marion and I have done. We'll have to check that I've put Marion's in there sometimes, but they are meant to be in there. So if you want to go back and watch a video, you should be able to scroll through the lot at the top and see which project it is that Marion or myself have done. Likewise, my videos are going up onto my YouTube channel, which is coming up on screen now. So if you want to subscribe to that, you will then be able to find the videos that I've done for Patchwork Cutters on there as well. I've been uploading them slowly, so they are all up there now, especially the Christmas ones. There we go, let's put that back up again. So thank you very much for joining me for this afternoon's paint. I hope that you've enjoyed it. I hope you'll give it a go, actually, because it is a really nice one to do. So if you are thinking about going into cake painting or having a go, this is not a particularly daunting one to do. You do need your cocoa butter, and you can choose any colours that you like. So if you've already got colours at home, as long as they're dusting colours, have a look, put them together, see if they make a picture that you would be happy with. So look carefully at your colours. Don't go for colours that are too strong with this. Go for colours that are more kind of a bit subtle, especially when you first do cake painting. Going for things like red and navy blue, and that can be quite strong. So rein it back in a bit. Go for more of a softer palette and see what you get to do something along these lines. Okay, so I will see you all again soon. I will talk to Marion and decide when I'm going to be back on, but for the rest of the week, I'm now extremely busy with cake orders and filming. I'm filming today for all of those lovely people that are on my cake school. I'm filming again today, so I've got to go and finish that now. But other than that, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all again soon. Bye for now.